Now, we talked about how there are four different nitrogenous bases, four different bases that are found in DNA. Again, here's our nucleotide cartoon over on the right, and we're talking about the base, the part all the way on the right of this drawing. There are four different types of nitrogenous bases that can be found in DNA. And maybe you've heard of them, right? Cytosine, thymine, guanine, and adenine. These are the different bases that are found in DNA nucleotides. And we're not going to memorize the structures here. We're simplifying it today. We're not going into all of the chemical details necessarily. But if you just take a step back and you look at these bases, what do you notice about them? What do you notice about the structure of them? Yeah, maybe you're like, well, cytosine and thymine, they're made up of one ring structure. And guanine and adenine, they actually have two rings that are stuck together in their structures. And yeah, we see nitrogen in all of these molecules. So nitrogenous bases, they have nitrogen in them as well. And we can categorize them into sort of different kinds of groups based on their structure. Now, cytosine and thymine, they're made up of one ring only. Okay, you can see that the atoms form a ring structure. And so cytosine and thymine are derived from what we call pyrimidines. So we call these the pyrimidines. And again, that just means it's a structure that has, a single ring to it. Now, guanine and adenine, they have two different rings bonded together within those bases. So those are called purines. Now, again, why do we care about all these details when we're talking about DNA nucleotides? Well, later on, we're going to find that when the bases pair with each other from one strand to the other strand of DNA, it's going to be a pyrimidine that pairs with a purine. And just as a little preview, cytosine is always going to pair with guanine, and thymine is always going to base pair with adenine. So we sort of keep this in mind to really understand, which ones pair with each other and how that's going to work in a structure of DNA. We're not going to talk about it today, but RNA has an additional base other than what's seen here. Instead of thymine, RNA is actually going to have a base called uracil. So in DNA, we have cytosine, thymine, guanine, and adenine. But in RNA, we have cytosine, uracil, guanine, and adenine. And I mention this just so you're aware of it, but also I have lots of little mnemonics that help me remember these things, and maybe they might help you too, even though they're a little bit silly. And I remember that thymine looks a lot like uracil. So uracil is another pyrimidine. So our pyrimidines in nucleic acids are going to be cytosine, thymine, and uracil. And the word pyrimidine looks a lot like a pyramid. And so in my head, I remember that pyramids are cut from big stones. Okay, C-U-T, cut from big stones. And C, U, and T are the three pyrimidines that we find in nucleic acids, okay, nucleotides. So cytosine, uracil, and thymine, those are the pyrimidines. So that leaves the other two, guanine and adenine, to be the purines. That's how I remember that and thought I'd share just in case it can help you as well. So these are the four different bases that are found in DNA: cytosine, guanine, adenine, and thymine. Now remember, here is our cartoon of a nucleotide. And if we switch that out with the structural drawing of that nucleotide, we see that there is one of those bases that is in this particular structural drawing. Now, looking at this base, right away, you see it has two rings. So you know it's a purine rather than a pyrimidine. And we know our purines are guanine and adenine. So can you identify in this structural drawing of a nucleotide which of the bases is found in this one? Okay, well, let's see. Looking over here, we see a lot of nitrogens in adenine, a lot of nitrogens in guanine. Okay, but looking at the different structure here, well, there's a nitrogen coming off of this second loop here. Okay, in adenine, there's an oxygen that comes off from that ring structure here. So in guanine. So if we look over at our structure, well, it's the nitrogen that is coming from this second ring. And so in this case, this particular base found in this nucleotide that we're looking at is adenine. Thanks for watching. And if you found this at all of use, please like it and subscribe to my page, and that will help other people find this information as well.